Hey guys, what's up? It's your boy Nezreax and I'm finally back. Now, if you guys are wondering why I was gone for a week or so or a couple weeks, it's because unfortunately I did have a passing in my family and it was my grandmother and I was going through it as well as my family. I didn't have the courage to make any videos because I did not want to come on here and just throw any videos together just for entertainment if I wasn't feeling right. So I took some time off, had everything go down, and I'm finally back. Thank you guys so much for even supporting me. I got a whole bunch of other subscribers while I didn't even make any videos for these past 2 weeks. So I appreciate all the support. And before we get into the video, WrestleMania 40 is this weekend. And if you do not have your tickets yet, you still have time. If you've never used SeatGeek before, you can download the app and you can use code NEZ at checkout, save $20 off your first purchase. You do not want to miss Mania because it's going to be the greatest one ever. Now, if you think I'm going to come on here and this is going to be a Tony Khan slander fest, it's not. So you can click out of this video because I know a whole bunch of AEW haters will be watching this video. So if you do not want to hear what I have to say, then just click out because I'm not slandering the man. I'm not saying he's an asshole or a clown or none of that. I'm not going to say any of that. I'm going to give you my whole opinion on the situation. So all my honest opinions will be going into this video. I am not going to go ahead and say a whole bunch of bad things about the man because there's nothing really bad to say as him as a person. This is just me looking at it from a professional standpoint and the whole situation going on. So from now on, you can clip this if you want and lie on my name, but this is exactly how I feel. Watch the full video before you start making your own opinions because I know how people get on this site. We have a toxic community. So anyways, today on the Ariel Helwani podcast, CM Punk joined and he had a lot to say. Now, before I get into it, I do not like Ariel Helwani at all. I think as a person, he has a lot of opinions and a lot of pettiness to him that I don't really, agree with. But I will be honest, he is one of the best at interviewing in this state of mind. Like him and Chris Van Vliet are the best in my honest opinion. So how I feel about the guy as a person does not affect how I feel about what they do as interviewers. I think Chris is great. I do not like Ariel Helwani, but this was a great interview, and I shout out Ariel Helwani because he did do a great job, even though I don't like the man personally. That's all I'm going to say. And shout out to Chris too. But yeah, we're going to get into this interview because it was a good one. Now, we'll see what goes on. So throughout this interview, he talked about the whole situation with AEW and him leading up to his firing with the whole brawl out and the Jack Perry situation. He even said about how in AEW All In, he didn't even have anybody pick him up, so he had to do his own transportation. He also talked about CM Punk and Tony Khan talking about their collision situation. You can pause the video to see everything he talks about, but he did go into detail about a lot of things, about doctors looking him up without anything being paid. He had to pay it himself. The whole Jack Perry situation and how much of a child Jack Perry was being, and just talked about every single thing that I think everybody wanted to know. But in my honest opinion, I don't think we should have known. Like, you know what? Just brings more fuel. I'll discuss that in a little bit. But make sure you look at all of this. You can pause it to hear everything he said because it is very important information when it came to this interview. I'm just saying it's a lot. It really is a lot, and he really did say a lot. He also did want to say that all the positive in AEW does cancel out the negative, so I'm glad he easily said that because if he didn't say that, people would have been even more pissed. Now, from what I've seen, CM Punk's side, you can get why he was pissed off. You know what I mean? He gave Jack Perry, great advice. Now, I don't know why he didn't go straight to Tony Khan because I feel like everything should go through Tony Khan. Jack Perry should have been more of a professional. That should have been going through Tony Khan. Tony Schiavone, he didn't have to go to Punk. They shouldn't have go to Punk to give this guy advice. You should go to the person that hired you in order to see what's going on and get the permission from him. That's why I do believe TK has to be more aggressive with his talent. You don't have to be an asshole to them, but you got to make sure that they let you know that, hey, you're my boss and I have to listen to you. So I need TK to be like, listen, I'm your boss. Everything you do goes through me. not through other talent. You can get advice for them, but I say the final thing. And I think that's what TK kind of messes up with. And CM Punk did discuss that throughout it. He said he's more of a fan than a boss. He's talked about this being just an indie promotion. You gotta, get yourself in check. You gotta make sure your talent knows, hey, I'm serious now. And I think that's what he has to go on from now. Because at the end of the day, even people want to say this is not a business, this is a business. You have created the second biggest wrestling company in the world. And you have to show for it. You have to be a boss more than a fan at some points in time. You know what I mean? You just got to do that kind of stuff. And I see why CM Punk, said everything about that, because in a way, if you look it through CM Punk's eyes, you can see, how he felt about TK and the situations that he'd been through and why people didn't like him. So you got to understand that. CM Punk did go into a lot of detail and talked about Brawl Out as well. He didn't like the situation with Hangman because apparently both of them had a situation going on where they both backstage had a deal as to what they were going to say in their promo leading up to the championship. And then when they went out of there, he changed up the whole thing and Punk was pissed like, bro, why'd you change up? That wasn't the plan. But he let it go. So you can see the childish situations, and that's what Punk said. He said this place is, a whole bunch of children. However, this is what I'm going to say about the whole Hangman and all this Brawl Out situation. You are a kid as well when you steep down to their level. If they're acting childish, you become a child as well when you steep to their level. You even said, if you have a problem with me, come to me and let's fucking go. Now, I'm from the Bronx, and you tell somebody, let's go, if you have problems, see me face to face, that means you're looking for a fight. So Punk had to, understand why he was wrong as well in the situation, as well as the Bucks and everybody else. Everybody in this situation was childish. I agree. I've said this on a video before. I just feel like in that situation, he could have handled it better if he wants to be the mature one, like he makes it seem in this interview. That's all I'm just going to say with that situation. You know what I mean? I get why Punk was frustrated, but you also got to look at it through everybody else's, point of view, because there's two sides of the story. This is why I think personally this should have never came out. He should have just left it there because he's adding more fuel to the fire. You're giving more toxic wrestling fans opportunities to get more fuel to get bashing AEW. And you don't want that because you did say all the positive do cancel out the negatives. You shouldn't have talked about this at all because now a whole bunch of toxic fans, as we all know, who don't touch grass, who don't have fucking lives, are going to bash AEW all because of this situation. I think this should have just been behind closed doors. This should never have been came out. I know we all wanted to know his side and all, but it's better that we didn't know. I do understand, when he hits the chance, he got the chance, he did sign an NDA. Now he doesn't have to because he works with WWE. And I do know that I see it, that CM Punk has matured when it comes to WWE because he knows this is his final shot. If he acts like, an idiot, it's over for him. He's not going to go to AEW. WWE's not going to want him. So he's been on his best behavior. And I appreciate that. And hopefully he does more stuff like that because he deserves it. And I think he has the power to be one of the best in the world, like he says. You know what I mean? CM Punk is a huge draw. It would suck if WWE would lose him just because of him being, situations. Like everybody paints him to be the bad guy, like he says. That's just how I like about everything. You know what I mean? It's just, I wish none of this came out. The interview was great. It was. But I just feel like this didn't need to be said because I do not like how fans go about everything. Tribalism is at its highest level right now. And what really pissed me off was that Vontae Davis passed away, unfortunately. And for that, I do hope his family is okay. I understand what it is to lose somebody. But anyways, TK goes and posts on Twitter talking about all his accomplishments and hopefully his family's doing okay and all this stuff. It was a settled tweet. I'm glad he did something because he felt some type of way and he wanted to make sure everybody felt okay. This asshole goes ahead and replies, calling him a clown. Your whole company's a joke. Keep crying about it, you clown. Why? This man had nothing was said about pro wrestling at all. He was freaking talking about a person who passed away who was a football star. Why would you have to go ahead and reply talking shit about him and his company? That made no sense. It pissed me off. Like I said, tribalism is ridiculous. You know what I mean? I don't have tribalism in me because I love both promotions, WWE and Tony Khan. Triple H has been doing some great work, and so has Tony Khan. I do think TK needs to build more stories and not just his main event stars. He needs to build more stories because I know he can. They have the best in-ring product. They just need more stories. So I do agree on that. And take lower venues because obviously not a lot of people are really entertained right now and very upset about what AEW does. So as AEW getting back on track with these past couple weeks, I say book, smaller venues so that, more people would be more alive and then more people would be interested. Then you can rent out bigger places. Right now, it's been rough and, everybody keeps taking picture how empty the seats are, and you don't want that to be on there because, like I said, tribalism, people just love to make fun of AEW. So what I would do is just get a smaller venue until, you gain more of an audience, because once you build more stories, more people are going to want to come in. That's exactly what happens with WWE. So I suggest just do that. Anyways, that's my thoughts on everything that happened today. If I disappointed you, I'm sorry. I'm not here to bash anybody. I just love great wrestling, and I want to see both promotions succeed because wrestling is at its hottest moment right now. So I hope everybody enjoys it. Anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. This has been Nez Reacts, and I'll see you in my next video. Love you guys. I'm finally back.